What is up, guys? My name is Wenster. Welcome back to The Average Fighter, where we keep it straight fire flame on everything fighting games. Before we get started on today's news and information for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed, anyone who is watching this video, and you haven't done so, please consider subscribing. It does help out the channel, does go a long way, and I definitely want to appreciate you guys. My sub goal for right now is 100. If you guys could help me out with that, thank you. But without further ado, let's just jump in this juicy news. The news that we got recently, I wouldn't necessarily news specifically for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It's more so of what they didn't say. And now, I was on Twitter one day just scheming around, and I was looking for any funny memes, the dank, goofy memes for fighting games. And the first person who I did actually tweet this out was Angelic. Shout out to him. He was having a conversation with KBR, and the letter is a public statement from the CEO and chairman of Capcom Japan. Now, in this letter, I am going to have it somewhere up on the screen so you guys can read it for yourselves. If you don't want to do that, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link in the description below so you guys can check it out for yourself firsthand and see what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to read as it goes. Even in Japan, the big topic of discussion last year was esports competitiveness featuring versus style games, with esports inclusion as an official event at the 2022 Asian Games and there being considered for inclusion as an official event at the 2024 Paris Olympics. The values we associate with games are being to shift drastically. We at Capcom have been building esports with our Street Fighter brand outside of Japan for the past 10 years, and now we are committed to laying down the foundation to make this year esports year one within Japan. Drawing upon the markets we have already developed in the US, Europe, we will move forward to promote esports with the full force of our organization. As of note, last year it was uncovered that there has been widespread product quality data falsification at major Japanese manufacturers. This discovery deeply affected the operation of these companies and the brands they have developed over many long years. We feel that the quality of our game software is a vital matter and one with which our entire company must be involved. As such, even more so than before, we will strive to create games that delight all our customers by prioritizing their needs and thoroughly administrating strict quality control. We will do this while carrying analysis and tightly coordinating our development and marketing departments. We are committed to continued production of games that compete at the global level. As one of the top runners in the evolving game industry, we humbly ask our stakeholders and their continued support as we pursue the creation of new value. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer Kenzo Sugimoto, forgive me if I mispronounce that. I am not Japanese, nor did I ever take Japanese, guys, but there you have it. That letter was really just going over the battle plan for Capcom in the coming years, considering that esports is becoming this huge, wide, global effect. They're actually being considered for the Olympic Games. Now, that in its own right is amazing. Having an esport at an Olympic is something that no one would ever think of. Video games are going to be there. No one ever takes it so seriously. But now that the world has seen what esports is doing and what it's going to become, Capcom is going to strike and they are going to try to put their games there because they're actually being considered. Now, if we go further into this, now this is just what I personally think. As you read further into this, they really didn't bring up Marvel vs. Capcom. All they actually end up bringing up was Street Fighter. Now, they didn't bring up Street Fighter 5 or Street Fighter 3 or Street Fighter 2, whatever Street Fighter. They didn't say a number, they just said Street Fighter. Now, considering that Marvel vs. Capcom is a huge title to Capcom, it has been out for about like 10-15 years, probably even longer. This game, this series has meant so much to so many people, and if Capcom is not prioritizing Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite or having any support, I doubt that the game is going to go anywhere in the coming future. Now, going off of that, that necessarily doesn't shun out Marvel vs. Capcom from Capcom. I don't think they're going to just drop the game, but this letter is only kind of reinforcing the negative attitude or the negative thought that people have for Marvel vs. Capcom already, with them not even saying Marvel vs. Capcom is probably putting it into a deeper hole than it already is right now. Right now, the community is in a really bad state from my personal perspective. Again, guys, if you feel different, leave it in the comments below. My personal perspective from Marvel vs. Capcom with the community is just it's not doing so well. Everyone is disliking the game, but now I could be definitely wrong, guys. I feel like this game is doing well. If you look at previous tournaments, the numbers have been really well coming out to play the game. Now, yeah, the locals aren't doing too well, and that's only because maybe their specific communities aren't really bringing in the players, aren't talking to the people who are interested, are not nurturing the players that need to be nurtured. And I think that is really reflecting in their own communities. Here in Arizona, we have a solid like 5, possibly 8-10 people playing the game actively and really taking it competitive. Again, you know, that's just my personal community, but we need to really develop those people who are trying to get into this game, and the people who want to learn are Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite's future. But again, that could only go so far with the community. Yeah, we see Marvel vs. Capcom 3, you know, that took off thanks to everyone at Marvel Lives or Marvel Live, I can't remember the name, but yeah, they really blew up with that game. They took it to that level where, hey, you know, we love Marvel vs. Capcom 3, we're gonna have it at Evo, we're gonna do this money, we're gonna do a donation drive, we're gonna do all this to support the game, and that was all by the community. Thankfully, we did have Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but that game lasted so long only with the hope and anticipation of some DLC. Yeah, we never got it, but there was always like some sort of speculation. But when Disney took over, they just revamped the game. Yeah, the game Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has had some balance patches. It didn't have one not too long ago to nerf the unblockable. I did make a video on that if you guys wanted to check it out. Well, they nerfed some balance patches on it. They nerfed the game's glitches when you do certain level 3s, which is really good, and it's showing that Capcom does have the sense of direction when it comes to Marvel vs. Capcom. Actions speak louder than words, and only time could tell on what's going to happen next and what's going to happen with the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise. The community is really taking off with the game, the hardcore dedicated players, but as far as the people who are interested, they're not getting nurtured by their own communities, and I think that's why it's reflecting on the numbers at your locals versus huge majors. Those tournaments are getting a massive amount of numbers. They're having 100 players, 70 players, which is really good, and I definitely want to see the turnout for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite continue to increase. Yeah, DBZ just came out and everyone is on it, but I mean, the hardcore Marvel vs. Capcom players are going to continue the game until they die. These are some dedicated players, almost comparable to Melee. Again, you know, I don't want to step into that, but I think the love that we have for this game is just transcended, and it's becoming much more than just us crying about it. We're actually taking action and trying to bring it to the masses. That's just my 2 cents in. I definitely want to know what you guys feel about this letter that they put out. I necessarily don't think it's just like, hey, Marvel's dead, but it isn't looking too good, son. I'm just gonna throw that out there. If this company doesn't support this game within like maybe a year, maybe a couple months, I don't know how much further it's gonna have, man. I honestly think right now it's not even being considered, or so far we don't even know if it's gonna be at Evo, and if it isn't, that's gonna only hurt the game that much more. This game is new, it just came out, and already it's not gonna be at Evo, or it may not be at Evo. Again, guys, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think Capcom is gonna still be supporting Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? Are they not gonna be supporting Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite? Let me know, guys, what you think. On my personal opinion, do you guys agree, disagree? I think the company is gonna be backing it up still. Only time could tell, though. Again, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing. And with that being said, guys, my name was Wenster. This is The Average Fighter, and I will check you guys out later.
Take this! Ghost Rider! Right there! Ready! Better get serious! Super strong! Dance! Space Stone! Take that! You're down! Ultron! Melt! It's over! It's way! Sweet green! Keep it inside! Ultron! Jackpot! Unreal! Calculation! Over here! Shield slash! Reality Never stone. Surrender! Reality stone! This way! Trick shield! Time to Space Stone! Space Stone! Trick shield! Time to Space Stone! Good! Trick shield! Space Stone! Over here! Time to Yes! Jackpot! I win again!